executing the mandate of the theme's agenda launched by the Babajide Sanwo-Olu-led administration requires the expertise of competent hands. The Lagos State Governor ensured this by swearing in new permanent secretaries and members into the governing body of the Public Procurement Board. Welcome to the Governor This Week. I am Lekan Onabanjo. The first jab of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine has been administered on the Lagos State Governor. The incident commander in the state, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, kicked off the vaccine rollout program after he got the first jab of the serum supplied by the federal government. This was done at the Infectious Disease Hospital in Yaba. The governor testified to the safety of the vaccine, saying there was no reason for anyone to panic over the desirability of the inoculant.
I want to first commend all of our numerous health workers. You know, this still remains our epicenter for the COVID-19. That's why I asked that I come to the IDH here in Yaba ceremonially, and I want to thank you for being with them for the past 2 hours. And so they started administering the vaccine to a lot of our health workers who are indeed the staff that was talked about. They've been gracious, allowed me to also come in and take mine. So I have received it, and I want to commend them and say to them that all of the other frontline health workers that are meant to take both in the private hospitals and in the public hospitals, will continue to do so, and will continue to have a strategy rollout of how people need to be vaccinated. I want to say that let's refrain from things that information that we know nothing about, and just let's get to work and be sure that my expectation that we'll be out of all of this So this is my card, my certificate. Thank you. The other way around. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. Taking your shot. Thank you, all the health workers. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu swore in 2 permanent secretaries into the Ministries of Public Infrastructure and Works and also members into the governing body of the Lagos State Public Procurement Agency. At the swearing-in ceremony, the governor charged them to bring their experience to bear and improve the quality of service delivery to the public.
I charge you to justify the confidence reposed in you by serving the state government and the people of Lagos especially to the best of your ability. Your major responsibility as member of the Public Procurement Governing Board is to ensure that strict adherence to the provisions of the Lagos State Public Procurement Law. It is your duty to meticulously oversee the procurement process. To the 2 permanent secretaries, your appointment comes with great expectation. The restructuring of the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure into 2 distinct offices with 2 permanent secretaries was necessitated by the need to engender improved efficiency and a faster delivery to key projects under the purview of the ministry. I want to charge you to utilize your wealth of experience and knowledge for the expedited and seamless delivery of work and infrastructure in the ministry.
The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, signed 4 bills into law after the past reading on the floor of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Referring to the bill to stop and avert COVID-19 spread, he shared his post-COVID-19 vaccine experience, saying he's fit as a fiddle and Lagosians have nothing to fear.
So it's been 3 days since I was vaccinated with the AstraZeneca vaccine, and I'm sure Mr. Deputy too had his own shot. I can confirm to you that I felt no after effect at all. I didn't have any headache or any malaria or any symptoms whatsoever. Let's use this media again to inform our citizens well that the vaccines, the ones that we have, AstraZeneca, has not indicated any side effect whatsoever from anyone. I, for one, do not have any, right? And I'm sure I've also asked around. So there's really nothing for us to get worried on.
Lagos State will set up a leadership and fellowship academy to immortalize the late Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakande, the state's first civilian governor who died on February 11 at the age of 91. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu broke the news at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Lekan, on Lagos Island, where eminent citizens and ordinary folks gathered to bid the foremost politician a final farewell.
Today, we celebrate a great man. We celebrate a selfless leader. We celebrate a rare gem, a quintessential politician. We celebrate an administrator par excellence, the first civilian governor of Lagos State, the architect of modern Lagos, one of the leading disciples of the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakande, Baba Kekere, a sobriquet he earned from taking after the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. A man who lived a full life, a life rich, not in material things, but in the things that truly matter. A man that lived for integrity, a man that lived with honor, a man that served his people, and a man that had great character. Through his outstanding and unequal achievements, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakande has definitely written his name in gold. He will continue to be remembered by generations as a reference point of good governance, by generation as a reference point for a strong welfareism, a visionary leadership, a selfless leader, a transformational leader, a true leadership of great example. One of the attributes of Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakande that stood out to most people was his humility. He was never one to throw his greatness and clout around. He stayed simple and humble. At the tribute that we gave to him at the Lagos State Cabinet, you can see our modest example. In the cabinet of Alhaji Jakande, we had late Ba Hamzat. In the cabinet of Babajide Sanwo-Olu today, we have the son, in the person of the Deputy Governor, Dr. Kadri Obafe Hamzat. In the cabinet of Alhaji Lateef Jakande, we had late Alhaji Ganiu Daudu. In the cabinet of Babajide Sanwo-Olu today, we have his son, Mr. Olusegun Daudu. In the cabinet of Alhaji Jakande, we had the Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Bayo Oshiemi. In the governance and cabinet of Lagos State, we have a special advisor, Mr. Bayo Oshiemi. In the trajectory of Alhaji Jakonde, where the likes of Baba Tajuddin Oluyole Olusi, Baba Bashorun Olorunfunmi, Baba Alebioshu, Alhaji Adekunle Ali, these are the same men that our cabinet are still using as members of our Governor's Advisory Council almost 40 years after, still keeping the torch and the tandem that Alhaji Jakonde stood for. The heights of his achievements will continue to light till the very end. Proud to his foray in politics, Alhaji Kayode Jakonde had built a reputation for himself as an outstanding journalist, a fearless journalist, a journalist that people can truly rely on. He was widely celebrated for his ingenuity, his courage, his brilliance, all of which he demonstrated in his writings as editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Tribune, and as they've told us in his publication, and as John West, as a pseudonym that a lot of people would not know at that time. Alhaji Jakonde achievements as executive governor of Lagos State within a very short period of 4 years and 3 months in 1979 to 1983 are well documented for prosperity. A careful analysis of the achievements, whether in education, in health, in housing for all, in public transportation, in environment, in infrastructure, or in agriculture, none of them would rival a leader that is showed in the management of resources, who has vision, who is selfless, who is disciplined, who is altruistic, who is passionate, and who is accountable. He truly demonstrated that the real essence of power is for the advancement of the welfare and the empowerment of the greatest number of people. He understood the power of education as the most potent weapon that can break the vicious cycle of poverty. He deployed it into a unique manner. You've heard speeches today where Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde crashed the educational system from 3 streams to a single stream. I was a beneficiary of all of those decisions. As a result of his passionate and unrelenting commitment to the implementation of the free education policy of his party, the Unity Party of Nigeria, UPN, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde succeeded in ensuring a level playing field for all of an entire generation of children who probably would not have known what the 4 walls of classrooms look like. Today, all those children have become accomplished professionals, one of them standing here today humbly, and have become leaders on all of our shores of human endeavor on account of the educational opportunity made available by Baba Kekere, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde. In the housing sector, many low-income earners became proud owners of apartments because of his administration's mass housing policy and pocket-friendly payment system. I think it's appropriate to quickly run through some of his outstanding achievements for the sake of the young people amongst us today, who might not be so familiar with history and the legacy that he has bequeathed to us. We have Baba Kekere to thank for the establishment of the following: the Lagos State Television, the first state-owned television station in the country; the Lagos State Radio Service; the Lagos State University, water works at Shasha, Agege, Shomolu, Apapa, Badagry, and Aguda, housing estates at Iba, Isolo, Iponri, Ejigbo, and a lot of others. The Lagos State Secretariat at Alausa, Ikeja, and the very famous Lagos Metro Rail project, which people have adduced to today, that he laid the foundation to build a metro rail for Lagos. But I can assure all of us here today, and the memory of Alhaji Kaode Jakonde, that the rail projects that he conceived 38 years ago, maybe not on the same alignment, but this current government will ensure that within the next 1.5 years, the Blue Line rail project that we see outside here will become available for the masses of Lagos. The red line from Agbado to Ebutemeta, which is just here, will be available for our citizens, which will be part of our own modest deliverable and to the memory of Alhaji Lateef Kaode Jakonde. Baba was a transformational leader who led by example. His commitment and dedication to building the greater Lagos of our dream, a Lagos that works for all, was certainly unequaled and unrivaled. He served the people with all his heart. He demystified public service through his simple and Spartan lifestyle. I took a quote out of his speech at his second year swearing in on October 1st, 1983. And I quote, "For this reason, I have rededicated myself anew of the service of the people of Lagos State, from dawn to dusk and from dusk to dawn, in any human condition or circumstance whatsoever. I shall devote my life to the selfless and impeccable service of all of who inhabitants of this state. Nothing on God's nothing on God's heart will deter me at any time from seeking the greatest good for the greatest number of our people. This is my mission." End of quote. I stand in front of good people of Lagos here that my personal motto is taken from the script that I've just read out of Alhaji Jakonde's speech in 1983, which is that I will continue to ensure that the greatest good is for the greatest number in Lagos State. That is my solemn promise that I'm taking away from what Alhaji Jakonde stood for. Alhaji sets a standard that successful administration will continue to strive to live up to and maintain. I can say without any fear of contradiction that Baba died a happy man and a fulfilled man because he was able to witness the progress that successful administration, especially civilian government, made with regards to actualizing the Lagos of his dream, a Lagos where all citizens are catered for, regardless of your social or economic class, your ethnic origin, or your religious outlook. As I said in my tribute at the time of his passing, the highest honor we can indeed pay to him is to continue to strive to live up to his leadership ideals and to deliver the full dividends of democracy to the people of Lagos State. This we will do across all strata under our own economic agenda, which have christened the team's agenda. Baba lived on a 4 cardinal principle. We are living and are guided by 6 pillar of agenda. I want to encourage our mother, the Chief Mourner, Her Excellency Alaja Jakonde, and the children, that whoever is with God is with all. Baba made it possible for a lot of us to stand here today, having been part of the legacy that he built. And I want all of you to live with your shoulders high, with your eyes up, and know that indeed your father, your grandfather, your husband has been a man that has left an indelible mark in the sign of time. And generations that are coming will find it difficult to upturn. I want to say to you that indeed Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde is an epitome for what all of us are standing for today. It is difficult to pass on anything in the name of Alhaji Jakonde, because whilst he was alive, everything around this state has the emblem of Jakonde in it. Do we want to begin to rekindle schools? Do we want to begin to rename hospitals? Or do we want to begin to rename housing estates that are already Jakonde by nature? So to immortalize Alhaji Jakonde is an everyday activity for us as a government. But for me, is to say that we're going to set up an endowment that is going to be called the Lateef Kayode Jakonde Leadership Fellowship Academy. This is what we believe that the transformational leadership that Alhaji Jakonde stood for, that indeed we can create leaders of tomorrow on a year-on-year basis, have 20, 30 leaders that can stand and live the spirit and the aspiration of Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde. And that will be backed up by the enabling act, by the enabling law, and will give it a teeth that generations that are coming behind us will not be able to reverse. Alhaji Jakonde was many things to many people. To some, he was Baba Kekere. To some, like our fathers have said, he was a good listener, a bill bridger, a man that created time for the poor amongst us. To some, he was the man that created the opportunity for them to be who they are today. I so want to grant that may Almighty Allah grant him Al-Jannah Fudao. Adio, Baba Kekere. We will miss you, but humanity will remember you for decades and decades to come. Adio, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde. Thank you very much.
Professionalism, ensuring due process, visionary leadership, selfless lifestyle and accountability in the discharge of duties further gives credence and value to the quality of services rendered to the public. The governor of Lagos State identified these qualities portrayed by the first civilian governor of Lagos State, late Lateef Kayode Jakonde, while praising him, promised to sustain his legacies by executing more people-oriented programs for Lagosians. And that's it on The Governor this week. But then you can continue with conversations of the governor's activities on all the social media platforms showing on your screen. Until next week, I am Lekan Onabanjo.